And welcome to episode number 54 of Empty the Bench. I'm Tom Albano, along with Nick Fodera and Nick Morgasen. Gentlemen, a lot to be talked about this week. We had a plan going into today, but late last night and early this morning, the whole sports world got shaken up quite a bit.
Yeah, it did. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it.
And it's for a certain somebody that we finally can hold a ridiculous grudge against.
Let's start this show off with let's start it off with the main news that we had planned to talk about and we'll still talk about this week. So it's time to talk about Skip Bayless. Now, normally our policy with Skip Bayless is he is a troll.
Take it or leave it.
Don't feed us not the trolls is pretty much our policy here on Empty the Bench. But again,
however, he has said some very, very controversial and very I will flat out say it because I was seen to be the most disgusting, vile comments.
I have them if you want.
Yeah, absolutely abhorrent. Yeah.
So let's hear it for yourself. Let's
hear what he says.
You're commanding a lot of young men and some older men, and they're all looking to you to be their CEO, to be in charge of the football team. Because of all that, I don't have sympathy for him going public with, I got depressed. I suffered depression early in COVID to the point that I couldn't even go work out. Look, he's the quarterback of America's team. And you know and I know, this sport that you play, it is dog eat dog. It is no compassion, no quarter given on the football field. If you reveal publicly any little weakness, it can affect your team's ability to believe in you in the toughest spot.
So after we listened to this last night as we were preparing for this show, and
having heard the comments straight from the horse's ass, I gotta say, Skip Bayless, the older he gets and the more time goes on, it just goes to show you how much of a dinosaur he is. How much this is grasping for. I don't want to say this is grasping for relevancy, but it's clear that the new generation of NFL players is not to his liking, because honestly he likes to think that quarterbacks are leaders of men, the manly men, I don't want to say toxic masculinity, but macho, and it's not that.
Well, here's my whole thing. I think you can be a quarterback, a leader, and still be
honest and open with your feelings, because he's not talking about some deep dark secret here. He's talking about his own mental health struggles. We all go through it, especially his brother committed suicide.
Well, I was going to say, let's give some context as to why he's coming out and talking about mental health.
I was going to say, first of all, number one, if people don't know this about Skip Bayless already, the guy basically made himself famous because of viral statements. He will always take the opposite side of the coin to get where he wants to get. Now, he's talking about a situation where he's a Dallas Cowboys fan. We got to throw that out there first.
Because God knows we know that. I mean, it's not he doesn't slip that into every single statement he makes.
And the other thing, and maybe you guys in journalism can understand this better than me in broadcasting, which is you're not supposed to be a homer when you're reporting on a television show, a radio show, and all of a sudden now we're starting to see people who are fans on sports broadcasting.
I was going to say, and for better or for worse, the form of sports journalism is starting to change. As we have discussed time and time again, it is no longer about the neutral, the beautiful writing and setting the scene and everything. It is the hot take.
I would also add that this is not sports journalism that Skip Bayless is practicing. It's sports punditry. He's a professional opinion haver, and bad opinions at that.
Sports debate and sports opinion take over sports journalism these days.
Can I need to say one more thing, and this is what really bugs me about Skip Bayless, where the reason he got where he was is because of, I don't know, maybe a show called First Take on ESPN, which basically spawns people out to say what's on their mind rather than if it actually makes sense in a logical point of view.
Which I'm not a big sports debate show, listener or viewer or anything, but if you want my honest opinion, First Take has gotten a lot more tolerable since Skip Bayless has left.
Well,
because every time somebody would stake out a position, he would stake out the opposite position just for the sake of being a contrarian a-hole.
But that's my point. That's what I was saying, Nick, that basically he's not looking to be knowledgeable or have his own perspective or have your own opinion. He's looking to purposely go viral. And a lot of people were saying it yesterday. He did the job that he was paid for by Fox and FS1 to go viral. But what did I say to you guys last night? What do you think Fox PR was doing as soon as he said that?
I will do the example that I showed you guys. Oh, hey, we're getting a lot of traction. Oh, cool.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
You gotta be kidding me. You know what it is? It's, look. So, these comments have been, I think, viral for maybe more than the last 24 hours.
Try the last 48 to 72 hours.
We have gotten some reactions, some other Cowboys teammates and some other NFL teammates. So
I have a few of the tweets right here.
Well, wait. Do you want the reaction from Shannon as well? Because I have that.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, that's more important. I like to hear what his co-host said in response.
All right. So, by the way, I'll pop a comment up here that someone just put up. Adult diapers are too expensive. Yes, I agree. So let's go to the reaction from Shannon Sharp, who was trying to make the point to Skip that maybe you need to take it down a notch.
The black man of America and talking about mental illness.
Okay.
And I think a lot of black men deal with things, and because they don't want the shame, because they're gonna be looked at as weak. And like I said, I don't look at it as being weak because I believe you can be weak and not be vulnerable. I also believe you can be vulnerable and not be weak. So we got to get out of the way that Skip. I just think the thing is the way he handled it was the way, and I try my best, and I used to do this all the time. Man, I wouldn't handle it like that. Well, unless you're under the exact situation, it's hard to say how you would or wouldn't handle a situation.
Yep, I agree. So I reiterate, I'm probably the wrong one to ask about this. And I could be completely wrong about this, but I stand by what I believe. This is the way I view what he's talking about.
Okay. Are you kidding me, Skip? Shannon gave you a chance to defend it and to say maybe I misspoke, and he stood by the beliefs.
Well, I want to get to that. Well, I'll get to that in a little bit, but what I was going to also mention is we have to give some context to Dak Prescott's comment. So he was talking about the loss of his mother and the loss of his brother and how he's dealt with that in his play as 2020 has gone on, the madness that is 2020, because, of course, this is not a normal year. For those of you who don't know, Dak Prescott, his mother, he lost his mother due to cancer, lost his brother, that Nick just said before, to suicide. And let me make some matters worse, by the way, about Skip Bayless's comments. Do you know what this Thursday was, gentlemen?
Yes.
National Suicide Prevention Day.
Oh, so I guess Skip, along with not realizing that he just says whatever word you want to enter there feels like, and then he doesn't realize what day it is. So way to go, Skip. Good job.
And as someone who
the only day he recognizes is whatever day he says it is.
And as someone who has nearly lost close friends to suicide, Skip, you know what? I normally try to make this, a family-friendly show because we are Facebook Live. But you know what? I'm just going to say it. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I concur, because as somebody who has struggled with mental health a lot during his life and, has sought a lot of help and is continuing to seek help even now as we go through this garbage fire of a year, this is just absolutely not only stupid, but just astronomically, pyrotechnically insensitive.
Now,
he's an idiot.
I usually don't like to reach into the pockets of people's professions, but the man made $6.5 million a year over the last 3 or 4 years, and his contract is up at the end of this month. If Fox was really in the right frame of mind,
they would let him walk.
Right. They just
I had a friend. I think you're talking. Like, were you kind of referencing an awful announcing article?
yeah.
One of my friends sent that to me last night and said the exact same thing.
Because do you really want to deal with the PR nightmare unless you have guys that work at all types of companies where they just say we're taking the guy in because the PR, they say all PR is good PR, right? Is that the dumb saying that they say?
Right. Well, here's a stupid. Well, normally I would say he needs to be fired or he needs to at least be suspended, but I don't think Fox is going to do that, and especially not if his contract's going to be up at the end of the month. And then what do you do if you're? Well, let's face it, guys. I hate playing politics, but let's face it. If this were ESPN, he'd be out the door by now.
Oh, he would have been out the door. Well, at least he would have been suspended for.
He would already be either suspended or fired after making those comments.
Well, you have to remember that ESPN now has that hard rule on no politics, even though they kind of let that one slide because they're dealing with the pandemic.
This isn't politics, and it shouldn't be considered to be political.
But I'm saying is ESPN is more proactive in suspending, firing, and holding its people responsible than Fox.
Look what they did to Le Batard when he made the statements on his radio show. He was suspended for a week. So
ESPN right. does a better job in that department than Fox does.
But we're spending a little too much time. Basically, the point is that they need to reprimand, and I think the three of us discussed the Fox statement that was put out, and
that they're proud of Dak Prescott and they condemn Skip Bayless's thing, which I don't buy.
Basically, when they say they're condemning somebody, that basically means let's see what we can say to make it look like we did it, but we're really not doing it.
Good God.
Do you want me to quickly read through a couple of the tweets that we have here? Or
nah, I don't think we should give this story any more
attention. I'll just say, look at Des Bryant's tweet. And,
look at Damian Woody. There's a bunch.
I think what's his face? Skip Bayless is going to lose his Cowboys fan card. And if the Cowboys end up winning the division, he goes celebrating. I want everyone on social media to take that clip, post it, and go, "This you?
Is that you? Did you do this?"
Because, trolling him on social media is fantastically easy.
All right, so I know we were going to go to an MLB story next, but little breaking of a situation is going on, so we're going to jump instead to what we planned to talk about third. Conor McGregor, once again, has been arrested for an alleged sexual assault. So let's give some context here. So Conor McGregor, for those of you who don't know, was on a yacht over in France. Yes, I said a yacht. Actually, because I ended up writing about something how USADA, who is the anti-doping partner of the UFC, actually came to the yacht to test him. So I guess he really isn't retired, first of all.
I saw when this story came out, I didn't know it was because of that, but I knew that he was kind of out speaking about getting tested on the boat. And he's like, I don't know why I have to do this and why are they doing this to me. And then I see the headline right here, which says Conor McGregor was arrested for alleged sexual assault and indecent exposure.
So I'm going to look for here it is, a story from Fanside at my site. My editor, Amy Kaplan, announcing that news that Conor has been arrested. Attempted sexual assault in Corsica, France. I believe that is where the yacht was. So a representative from...
are they saying that the assault took place on the yacht?
I don't know. It doesn't...
Nobody knows at this point.
It just says Corsica, France. It doesn't say where.
Okay.
Conor McGregor, a representative, of course, has denied that Conor McGregor, any accusations of misconduct. Now, remember, so McGregor has been vacationing in France on a yacht with his fiancée, Dee Devlin, and their 2 children. Agency France Press received an official statement from French courts about the incident, which took place on either Thursday or Friday at a bar.
That's worse because he's been in trouble in bars already.
Yeah, so let's. So this is not the first time that McGregor has been accused of sexual assault. If you remember the 2 times last year, 2019, that he was accused of sexual assault, those allegations, by the way, have not gone away. He is still, I guess, being investigated for those.
Is he still being investigated for breaking the bus window also?
Well, that's old. That's old. That's over and done with.
Oh,
But
it's
that was actually like that. But you were actually going to get to my point here. So very quickly. So let's pretend that these 3 sexual assault allegations aren't true. That still does not put a halo back on Conor McGregor. Remember, like you just said, the bus dolly incident from UFC 223, the whole massacre of UFC 229 post his Khabib fight, the phone incident down in Florida, the bar, where he punched the old man in Ireland.
didn't he break somebody's phone? Was that the old man incident?
No. Those are 2 separate incidents.
Oh, okay. Because I thought I heard the incident where he actually like threw somebody's phone and broke it.
Yeah, he took a fan's phone and broke it. That was April of 2019, I believe.
Ugh.
So, it just goes to show just how much of a tire fire of a human being he is that I know everything you're talking about. We've covered everything you're talking about.
And the worst part is nothing is going to happen because he's still the draw. He will still sell pay-per-views even if he's rarely fighting these days.
As long as he can still be around and sell, I guess, that proper 12 Irish whiskey, I guess he'll be okay.
and still sell pay-per-views. I mean, right now you're not seeing anything from him, and right while you saw this testing him because the UFC is not going to pony him out when they can't have fans in attendance. And Dana White has said he's not expecting fans to come back into attendance to the UFC until at least 2021. He sees the rest of this year being at that apex down in Florida and at a fight island.
Fight Jurassic Park, I guess. No, it's just that, you know what? Dana White has got to realize, maybe it's just because he's got to realize that Conor's just more trouble than he's worth at this point. I mean,
well, we do have an update, by the way. We do have an update.
Wait, I just wanted to say one thing to this point, which was, as annoying as they are, and this happened in sport, you get the bad boy of the sport, the Rock of the NBA, bad as it is still making the move.
Oh, is Nick frozen on your end?
Yep.
Nick, you're freezing up, just letting you know.
You can't hear.
No, you're robot-y.
Yep. Oh, boy.
So while Nick's dealing with that, I'm going to read...
while dealing with that, I mean...
Oh, okay, so Nick's gone again.
At a certain point, it's like, why do you keep letting this guy hang around, even if he's not fighting?
All right, Nick, are you...
Fighting.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
You're still robot-y.
All right, I'll re-enter.
Okay. While Nick is waiting, we're waiting on Nick, little bit of an update coming from Agency France Press again and the score. So Conor McGregor's lawyer has announced that he has been released from jail without being charged after being detained under suspicion of the attempted sexual assault. He was in police custody in Corsica on Thursday. The prosecutor's office has released a statement denouncing that it had received a complaint against McGregor denouncing acts that could be described as attempted sexual assault and sexual exhibition. And again, the spokesperson vigorously denied any accusation. McGregor's lawyer has actually called the complaint against his client abusive. So, again, it goes back to my point that, even if these 3 sexual assault allegations aren't true, McGregor's still not a nice person.
He's still a scumbag.
He's still a very troubled, law-breaking person considering all that he has done already. Yes, Nick, you are better on our screen. So go back to what you were saying about the NBA or whatever.
Oh, I was just saying that, like the Rodmans and, like you said, the McGregors or the A-Rod and the Barry Bonds of.
But the NBA doesn't even have that kind of Dennis Rodman bad boy anymore.
No, but that's my point. Is that
they can still sell and still get attention.
Yeah,
right.
They can still
and the NBA and Major League Baseball are all going to make money regardless. Because as bad as they are, do you ever see them get rid of the guys? No, because they make attention for themselves.
All right. So very quickly, we're going to jump now to our other story. The Giants and the Padres series. To yesterday's game and today's game were postponed. A member of the Giants staff. I don't know if there's any clarification if it was a player or a staff member, but some person from the Giants organization has tested positive for COVID. So, we were going good with MLB. We didn't have any positive cases for a little while, and now
That series, I guarantee you that whole series is going to be canceled.
Probably.
So we're going to have doubleheaders as far as the eye can see in this point.
No, you might lose those games, actually.
I don't know if the Giants and Padres. I'll check the schedule to see if they're playing again.
Well, how many? We're getting close to the end of the season soon, aren't we?
Yes,
Yep.
I mean it's already September, guys. The NFL season kicks off.
The NFL season is underway, or will be underway, and it's oh my god, this year has basically warped all our sense of time, and it's as far as the postseason goes, I mean.
You saw the bubble situation, right?
All it takes is one positive case, and then everybody's going to have to be sent home packing.
So, the Giants and Padres will play again for one more series at the end of the season. And to make matters worse, it's in the Giants' home park this time. So we're going to have one of those situations like the Yankees, where 3 of the games, the Giants are going to be in their home park, but they're going to be the road team.
Right.
And the Giants are going to be playing against the blood orange sky, by the way, because that's
true too.
I didn't have that on my apocalypse bingo. Did you?
I totally didn't realize that there was that whole situation where we're dealing with wildfires,
masks, and N95s. We're going to have to wear gas masks. Jesus.
Well, they said that for the Niners game coming up this Sunday night or Monday night, whichever it is. Monday night, and they said they're not sure if they're going to be able to play the game. They're going to have to monitor. Didn't they have an issue in California last year?
Air quality index, but that was smog. This is smoke.
Okay.
I mean, and let's get to that bubble plan for the postseason. So, Nick, you had the 4 parks. I knew 2 of the parks because they announced the parks for the ALCS, NLCS, and World Series first, but now they've released 2 other names.
I think it was Dodger. Oh, I have it right here, actually. So,
what are the 4 parks?
So, ALCS is going to be in Petco,
which is going to be troubling.
Which is San Diego. NLCS will be in Globe Life Park. Now, before we go any further, let me go back a step because I actually went one too far. The wild card is going to be at the home parks for the number 1 through number 4 seeds for all 3 games. But so I just said ALCS Petco Park, that's San Diego, Globe Life Park, NLCS, which is Texas. Now, I made an interesting comment to Tom before we started, and then I realized it afterwards. Why are they playing the ALCS in a National League ballpark, and why are they playing the NLCS in American League Park? And
neutral sites.
Right, and then you said to me neutral sites, but it's not really neutral sites because now all teams are playing in all the parks. Now,
what do you mean by that?
No, I'm just saying, like, you're seeing more and more American League, National League, where everyone's playing each other.
Oh, so that's true. But you know, until the postseason, we're not seeing any we're not seeing East versus Central, or East versus West, or Central versus West until we get to this postseason.
Okay, so after the ALCS and NLCS, the
ALDS and NLDS.
I skipped a step again, didn't I? Yeah, I skipped a step. Yeah. ALDS, NLDS, Petro Park, and Dodger Stadium for ALDS, NLDS, Globe Life Field, and Minute Maid Park.
Houston and LA, basically.
Then it's what I said, ALCS, Petco, and NLCS, Globe Life.
And the World Series is in Globe Life, I believe, because the Rangers are already out of it.
Yeah, that's what the World Series is at Globe Life Field. So there's a lot of moving parts here. And
I think this just goes to show you that we should have had the bubble in the first place.
We should have had the bubble. We probably should have had a physical bubble, meaning we probably should have had a giant plasticine dome just lowered on the stadium and have people in hazmat suits, because really that's the only way to work.
And remember, guys, Andrew Cuomo, the governor here in New York, actually invited everyone, all the MLB teams to be hosted in New York. I mean, we could have had Yankee Stadium, Citi Field, the Cyclone Park in Brooklyn, the Staten Yankee Stadium.
There's one more wrinkle. There's one more wrinkle that we kind of left out here. It's awaiting approval from the MLBPA.
Oh, great! So we're not even official on this yet.
So now we're going to go through a montage where, okay, we're going to do this. No, we're not going to do this. Are we going to do that? Oh, okay, we're not going to do that.
Here we go again.
Oh, jeez. You know what? Just stick a fork in this. Stick a fork in this year. It's done.
according to Patton, baseball's bubble plan is set. Now all baseball needs is an agreement on how to integrate families into the whole situation, which I don't understand. I don't understand why the NBA had to do this and why Major League Baseball has to do this. Why do you need? I understand that you're away from your families for as long as you are, but why are you so worried about the whole family situation?
Well, you want to keep the players happy, don't you?
I understand, but you have enough issues trying to get them to play. Now you're adding a whole nother layer to it.
Well, are you adding a little bit of risk by bringing the families around?
That's my point here. That you're adding more risk. You're putting more people at risk by putting them in a bubble. Don't get me wrong. The NBA has done it quite well. Of course, we saw a situation yesterday where I can't remember the guy's name. I know his last name. House Jr. of the Rockets got thrown out of the bubble due to cheating on his wife with one of the testers. With one of the testers. This is no joke, Nick. You know how
that actually happened?
No, that did happen. He's right.
That's no joke. Nick and I like to joke around and say ridiculous things. This actually happened.
It happened.
Where the female COVID tester went into the Houston Rockets players' hotel room.
And they did more than testing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
They tested something, but it wasn't what you think it was.
Oh, good God. Like you said, stick a fork in this year, it's done.
But yeah, that's what it's been like. So I'd be careful with doing a whole bubble situation.
Okay, one last thing here. Let's quickly go to this, guys. NFL season, it started on Thursday with the Chiefs and the Texans. The Chiefs ended up winning. The Texans came back a little bit in the fourth quarter, but other than that, it was pretty much a blowout. Chiefs being dominant.
This is what I said.
Use DeAndre Hopkins, couldn't you have?
Yeah, but well, this is what I said before the game, and Tom had tweeted out all our predictions and stuff. If you want to go check it out at ETV Sports on Twitter, you can see it. Basically, I think I said that there was no chance for this Texans defense. And Bill O'Brien doesn't have a clue how to coach, let alone be the GM of the team as well.
And you saw a little subliminal messaging from DeAndre Hopkins after the game. Grateful.
Oh my.
Well, we'll see how grateful he is. Let's see how Kyler Murray performs in his second season in Arizona. So let's go through some of our predictions. Like you said, I had tweeted out a bunch of our predictions for this upcoming NFL season. So
I have them right here.
Okay, so I have the front up as well. So we're all in agreement on the Super Bowl matchup. I can't believe I'm saying this.
Well, it kind of makes sense, the matchup.
Is that the first time that's ever happened?
It is. It's the first time we have all agreed on the Super Bowl matchup. We are all predicting Chiefs versus Saints, the Super Bowl.
Well,
it's basically because the Chiefs are good enough to repeat, I think, and the Saints are going to be pissed off, and they're going to want to, and they're going to.
Well, I agree with what Nick Morgasen had said, and that's, I think the Ravens and Lamar Jackson are going to be a little better this year, but I think the experience that Mahomes and crew have had for the last two postseasons, that's going to take over. That's
that's not just me, but I've heard the analysts say as well. Until Baltimore proves they can win the big game, I'm not putting them in the Super Bowl. They got to win the big game.
You're right, and well, it's ironic we're talking about the Saints because the Saints for the past 3 years have been robbed at one point or another in the postseason.
Just go back and ask the Rams what they think.
but like I said, but we're expecting that the Saints will get some success by winning the NFC title, but it'll just end in heartbreak again when the Chiefs repeat a Super Bowl.
By the way, how great would it be if the Saints made it to the Super Bowl and Drew Brees went out on winning a Super Bowl off to his cushy NBC job?
I actually agree that I think if somehow the Drew Brees and the Saints win the Super Bowl this year, he shouldn't stick around for the next year. He should go out on top.
He's got his job waiting for him already.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, on the other side of the spectrum, as Tom and I put out there.
Oh, yeah, our bold prediction for the season. So Nick Morgasen and I are both agreeing that there will be a third 0-16 team for the third time in NFL history, and it will be the Washington football team.
God. The Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes, as you said, is basically the Redskins to lose.
I mean, will they still be called? It's going to be
God, did I just say Redskins? Washington
Yeah,
football team.
it's going to be WFT because you can't say WTF. So
The Washington team of football.
Wait, football talk.
But yeah, I mean, well, think about this. So Dwayne Haskins stinks. I think Dave Gettleman, I'm sad to say, has actually proved us right in picking Daniel Jones over Haskins because he stinks. The offensive line
Very
stinks.
still out on that though.
That not for me. Not for me. The offensive line stinks. The defensive line stinks. The running back situation, well, you had Darius Geis, and then he got in trouble choking out his girlfriend. And then you had Adrian Peterson, for whatever reason, decided to release him. So your running backs are Antonio Gibson and Bryce Love.
By the way,
there is a certain kind of beauty to them sucking. It's like a bronzed statue of a turd.
By the way, you forgot to put up the boldest prediction I made, which was on the Bucs. If you remember what I said about the Bucs,
that they're going to finish below 500.
Yeah, I think the Bucs finished below 500.
No, I put there as for Tom Brady's first season with the Bucs, and Morgasen Radio feels the chemistry won't be there and there will be growing pains.
Oh yeah, you did. Okay, now I see it. But yeah, I know a lot of people are going to scream at me. I'm going to get a bunch of tomatoes thrown at me for saying that. But just because Tom Brady is,
believe me, they're Tom Brady fans. They're throwing cups of Dunkin' Donuts coffee at you.
God, but I just don't see it. You need chemistry, and I hate the whole, well, on paper, they're going to win this. Enough. I'm so tired of the what's on paper game.
Well, here's my prediction on the Bucs, and I'll throw the Patriots in there for the Brady Belichick. Who's going to win it? Guys, I predict the draw. I predict the Bucs and Patriots will win wild card spots, only for both of them to get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs again.
That's it.
I think Cam Newton's going to all of a sudden be resurrected because that's the evil black magic that Belichick has at his disposal. He's basically a Sith Lord at this point. So if he's figured out a way to cheat death, he's figured out a way to resurrect Cam Newton's career.
I'm kind of hoping that the Patriots actually make the playoffs with Cam Newton and the Bucs somehow miss it by like one game.
I mean, it's very realistic. So for those of you who don't know, I actually put up a whole thing on who I think is going to win the divisions.
I see that. I see it right here.
So here is what I predict for the divisions and everything. I am predicting the Chiefs will win the West and will get the first round bye. And then in order from 2 through 7, the Ravens taking the North, the East, the Bills taking the East, the Texans taking the South, and the Pats, Titans, and Colts to get the wild cards. And then
too far off.
For the NFC, I think it'll come down. The West will come down to the Seahawks versus 49ers again. And I think this time the Seahawks are going to get their revenge, and they're going to get the West and the top seed in the NFC.
I just don't know if they can win the road games. That's the issue.
We'll see about that. And then going down the line again from the division winners in seeding order, the Cowboys taking the NFC East, the Saints taking the NFC South, the Packers taking the NFC North, and then the wild cards, the Niners, the Bucks. And this is going to break our dad's hearts, Nick, but I think the Eagles will edge out the Vikings and the Bears once again for the final wild card spot.
I haven't even asked my father what he thinks the Vikings are going to do. I think he's basically just waiting for it to happen and then say, "I told you so."
All right. So that actually does it for all. Oh no, wait. We actually have our New York teams, our local teams. So,
oh God, please don't say it.
Okay. So I'll just sum it up like this. They're going to suck. I think the Giants have a chance.
There's no getting around it, folks. They're going to suck.
I think the Giants actually have a chance to get back to mediocrity, but I still see double-digit losses.
Wait,
I see 6-10.
You put the quote up that I said about the Jets, right?
Yes. I said, let's see. I said that Fodera actually gave them some credit and said that there's a chance they could go over 500, and Nick, you had responded that that's going to be a miracle, and I said
it's going to be a miracle because
I said 4-12.
Exactly. Do you hear the people singing a song of 6 and 10?
No. But what I don't remember the exact quote, but I basically said if they finish 500, that's a victory.
It is. Nick, actually, speaking of 4-12, that's your prediction for the Giants, Nick.
Yes, it is, actually, because I think that Danny's going to be able to do some good things, but the rest of the team is basically just going to be wearing him down like a pair of lead underwear.
Well,
So,
that's actually why I'm going with 6-10. I think Danny's going to do great. I think everyone's been hyping him up in the training camp. He's been throwing great to Shepard, Tate, and Slayton. I think they're going to do well. I think Saquon will do well, but I think he will get banged up at some point this season from running around. I think the offense and defense, the defense stinks. And I think with the offense and defense, you have too many young parts there to have some success. I think they will have success with 6-10. The problem with that is, we've talked about it before. I've said it before. I think John Mara is still in that mindset that they can win and rebuild at the same time, hey, Mara, you can't.
Do you think Saquon wins the many games?
I think so. He'll win maybe one or two, but I could add this as a caveat. I did not say that Danny was going to do great. I said he was going to do better.
Okay. I think he's going to do great things, but I think the damage, it's going to be 6-10. As much of an improvement as I think that is, I think Mara's still going to get ticked, and the past mistakes of the Giants are going to be too much. They will fire DG at the end of the season, and then you're going to be in a prediction like the Jets were just in a season or two ago, in which you're going to have Judge as part of that process to pick a new general manager, which I don't like.
Oh, God.
I told you, it's like the whole Bill O'Brien coach GM situation. I heard it was either Collinsworth or Michaels. I don't know who said it, but he had to decide who he was going to pay, whether that was Deshaun Watson or DeAndre Hopkins. I guess we figured out who was more important.
Yeah. All right, so that's going to do it for this edition of Empty the Bench. We'll put up our predictions for Week 1 tomorrow, right before the games tomorrow. But until then, make sure you're following us on social media here on Facebook and on Twitter. And make sure to go to emptythebenchsports.com. But until then, Fodera Nick Morgasen on Tom Albano, signing off. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody!
Good night.